right, thank you very much. Great to have a session here together on the AWS Theater with a great title of Transforming the Automotive Industry in Industrial Metaverse. There's a lot of words in there that normally belong to the bullshit bingo category, but I want to show you today that this, what we're doing here, is real. It has a massive impact on our joint customers. When we look in the automotive industry, we're seeing a lot of pushes from the market that are changing the way the industry works. We're talking about electrification, we're talking about autonomy. We walk around here, you see that there's the big topics, connectivity, but of course sustainability as well. So how can the car manufacturers, the OEMs of the future, address all these different issues? And this is a massive topic that we have to deal with. So the standard answer to that, of course, is saying we need to have a digital transformation, because creating things digitally, having the processes designed digitally, optimized digitally, looking at the assets and constructing them digitally, all that together is going to enable us to be a lot faster and better on these topics. And the other really, the big part on digital transformation that's coming into the game here is if we start digitizing the assets, if we start digitizing the processes, if we design and optimize them, we unlock a huge amount of data that existed before as well, but was just never accessible. So what can we do with the data to really turn that into a value and not into a drag and asset? And we're talking about large amounts of data. When you really produce a car fleet, we're talking about 100,000 of cars in different configurations, bill of materials, versionings of pieces in there, software in there. You look at operational data, we're talking about very large volumes that you cannot handle anymore in a traditional way as we used to do that in the past. So this is the reality that our customers are facing. But at the same time, we're also seeing that our customers are struggling with the digital transformation. Big issues are we have a brownfield environment. Machines might be 20 years old, different data standards. Everything that was hip, state of the art of the last 20, 30 years is still out there and is being deployed and used. Application software is being old. So the mantra that Siemens has, what we really drive for, is saying we want to combine the real and digital worlds. And the reason why we do that is because in digital, you can do experiments that you cannot afford to do in real. We can design a process, design a complete factory without having built a single piece. Optimize how you can actually then produce there better. We can optimize or design components, cars. We can do crash tests and optimizations. How much weight can we take out of a car and it's still safe enough that's providing the same or higher level of safety for the passengers. You can do all that without building a prototype. That is so much faster and so much better. 10 years ago, it was about from the idea of a car to getting the first car really out on the street. It was about 6 years, 7 years. Today, we are seeing the first vehicle producers that can do that under 1 year. That is massive. Reacting to customer requirements that are changing, that is massive. So how do we get the real and digital worlds together? Well, we call that industrial metaverse. Now, what is the industrial metaverse? Let's not get too confused about these wordings, but what it really is, it's a place where you can have a digital representation of the reality, where you can collaborate, where we have the digital representation is reactive, so we have a digital twin, you can do experiments, it has a dynamic of the real object, and you can take engineering decisions that reflect directly back into the system you're dealing with. It can be an object like a car or a car door or something like that. It can be the production process and the combination of both. And why is that important? That before you can do experiments, you can test out things without having to spend money on ordering something and later on changing that. But also, and that's the thing very important, you get the best experts together. I don't know how it's for you guys, but skilled labor is one of the biggest issues we're facing. Do we get the best engineers on brakes together with the best engineers on a control system? Will they be in the same location? Can they sit together? Do we want to fly them around the world all the time? That doesn't fly. It doesn't work from my perspective. Doesn't work for Siemens, probably doesn't work for you guys either. So we need to have one place where we can do all those discussions in an immersive way that really reflect reality. That's what we call the industrial metaverse. And honestly speaking, a lot of that exists already. So it's not a dream like, in 10 years, we're going to be there. No, a lot of these things are already existing, but we are not yet good enough in making them happen. So what Siemens did to really bring this to our customers is we created Siemens Accelerator. Siemens Accelerator basically is a redefinition, re-engineering of our portfolio in terms of making sure we have a portfolio that's open, interoperable, flexible as a service, and cyber secure. So this means we are refactoring a big part of our software. You're seeing that Teamcenter X, NXX, but also for buildings, Building X, Edification X. So you see all these application parts coming out that already embody those values. But we realize, of course, we can't do that alone. So we opened up our systems for a large ecosystem of partners because we want to deliver, we want to make sure our customers get the best from the ecosystem that we can represent and bring together. And it's not just is everything around Siemens, but it's really the question, can we solve the important problems for our customers together with our partners? So we're actively pursuing partners and opening spaces for them. And of course, we want our customers to have a better way to interact with all this. So we have a marketplace where you can get information around that, you can configure your solutions, you can also online check out applications, but you can do that in a multi-channel way and so on. Right now, we have about 1,000 offerings on the marketplace, and we have about 200 something or 300 from partners in there already, which is fantastic because it provides so much more value. Now, let's give an example how that actually works and how that creates value. So one of our customers, Workhorse, they're providing large-scale electrical cars. They started using Teamcenter X, which is our great Teamcenter product, but provided now in this new paradigm as a SaaS solution from the cloud, set up very fast. So you can get the value not in months or year and a half, but you get that in weeks. They were very happy because they didn't need to build up any IT infrastructure on their own side. They didn't need to hire talent outside of their core areas. Why should they be an IT company? They want to design and market and produce and sell cars. That's what they need to focus on. That's what they need to really hire their people for. So our approach really took a lot of the heavy lifting on the other sides away from them. And they also needed to work with their own partner and supply chain. So what we've seen here is that they have these customer challenges, developing new commercial vehicles. They have, of course, huge price and profitability and all those things that probably you all know. But bringing back together this seamless integration, Teamcenter X with NXX, works flawless, immediately, directly out of the box. And of course, they could engage their supply chain. They could engage their own partner network in there, making the solution accessible because they didn't need to provide special laptops somewhere, special workstations. No, you access that through the web. You have all it available. And it's helped them directly. I mean, the small company, but they help them directly to have productivity savings that are important for them to be and to stay profitable. So that's something where even in a small scale, that already works really well. Now, together with AWS, we're working very strongly on the whole part of digital TwinMaker because, as I said before, the industrial metaverse is a part that relies on having a digital twin, and I mean a dynamic digital twin. It's not about just having a fancy, nice graphics part, but you want to make sure this thing behaves as the real thing. You can experiment with that. How can we make those digital twins easy to create in a way that all our customers can do that fast? Here is great to partner with AWS because when AWS is about one thing, it's about scaling at large scale. That's what they're doing, and jointly together, we're working on that. And I like this slide really, is about making sure we bring together the best capabilities that are out there. How does the object work? We have tools that have been in the market with experiences for decades. We know exactly how that happens. We have simulation tools out there that are best in breed out there. But of course, we want to make sure that this all fits together, that all the data that we're getting in thousands of formats actually can be handled. The volumes can be handled easily without somebody having to swap up stuff in whatever racks and so on. I think this is all a part that we can jointly do together. The important element here really is bringing the value to the customer. That's the one and only thing that matters, because everything behind that is just a means to that end that our customers can do their job better and innovate and step on our shoulders. So we actually also leverage a lot of that part of the industrial metaverse.
And I brought a couple of numbers in here. We start with design engineering, virtual testing, building the factories differently, building the processes differently, changing the way, the layout, changing the machinery and so on. And what we're seeing is we save material because you can design better elements and you can test them and optimize them before you start building anything. We save a lot on energy, 40%, that's what we're seeing. And we're saving and we're increasing productivity. So in the first digital factory we had was in Nanjing in China. We actually have less space, a lot less energy, and still a higher output. So now we announced early 24 that we're investing 500 million in upgrading many of our existing factories to digital factories. And the first 2 are already online in Germany, and the rest is following up. So this is something that we eat our own dog food because we believe it makes so much of a difference, and it's already there. So it's not just that it's a dream for the future. What is still missing? We still need to make sure that these different applications, they're sometimes point applications, work better together. That's what we're trying with Siemens Accelerator to open up, having APIs, integrate partners. But also we're seeing that many of our customers are still trying to look at what are the use cases that provide the biggest value and fast. I can tell you always great stories, but if the ROI comes in 3 or 4 or 5 years, it's not going to be helpful. So therefore, from my perspective, what we need to do is let's shape the industrial metaverse. And the only way it can be successful is by doing it together. This is a part where there's not one big player that's telling you what to do, but it's something we can all shape together, and everybody can bring in IP, create their own use cases, and leverage what other ones have done. That's, I think, is the future of open ecosystems. Thank you very much.